What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you, and welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your fill-in host, Jack Sperry. Jack right now is on Radio Row in New Orleans. Very jealous of him, so you got me for today. And on today's show, we got a ton to get into. Number one, is there a little bit of coach protection going on in Washington? Who that coach might be, we'll get into that. And then on the back half of the show, we'll talk about what that necessarily means for Jayden Daniels, his development, and his future with the Washington Commanders. Before we get into any of the content, I need you guys to help me out, okay? I need you guys to prove Chase Sr. wrong, because our Eagles Now host, Chase Sr., he bet me that we could not get 1,000 likes on today's video, okay? He's enjoying the Super Bowl right now, and I absolutely hate him for it. So to prove him wrong and to prove to him that the Commanders are 10,000 times better than the Eagles, go ahead and like today's video. So the tweet from Tom Pelissero is what we're talking about today. He said, in related news, this is coming earlier this week, the Commanders blocked assistant quarterback coach David Blough from interviewing for the Jets job. He is staying in Washington, and he got requested to interview for their quarterbacks coach, and you can block a team from interviewing your coach if it wouldn't be a promotion, right? But if they were trying to interview him for offensive coordinator, then Washington couldn't block that, but it's still a quarterback coach job. And so, you know what? They could throw out the blocks, and they've been doing it so far in this offseason because they're not the only ones, right? The Jets blocked. Bears, blocked. Jaguars, blocked. And I think that shows you a couple things. Number one, you have something coveted on your coaching staff that other teams see potential for in the future. But number two, it's obvious to me that this is Washington making a statement that they want Blough to stay, that they want Blough on their coaching staff, that they want Blough to be in Washington, at least for this next year, and maybe in a bigger role in the future, okay? And if you haven't heard of David Blough before, if this is your first time hearing that name, he's most recently, before this past year, was actually in the NFL. He started his collegiate career and finished his collegiate career at Purdue, and then played for the Browns for a year, was out of league for a little while, Vikings for a year, Cardinals for a year, actually led the Cardinals on a game-winning drive for Cliff Kingsbury, and then played with the Lions in 2023. That was his last stint in the NFL as a player, and then, of course, in 2024, he came on for Cliff Kingsbury to be the assistant quarterback coach for the Washington Commanders. And honestly, let's just talk staff as a whole, because I think it was the goal of Adam Peters and everybody else in this front office and in this organization to keep this coaching staff, especially on the offensive side, to stay put, okay? And I think that's going to be big for Jayden Daniels going forward and just for how this offense operates as a whole, okay? I think consistency in a coaching staff, whether it's the assistant quarterback coach or it's the offensive coordinator, I think that is very big for team success, and I think that's something that Washington has made a priority going into this offseason. Red pin time for me. Grade Blough's performance last year as assistant quarterback coach. If you don't know the nitty-gritties, just basically say, you know what? Jayden Daniels is probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year. That's at least good enough for an A. Let me know in the comment section down below. And like I said before, it's massive that this offensive staff is staying put, okay? Especially when you had a year like Washington had last year where they just went absolutely ballistic. It's not uncommon to see staffs like that just get picked apart from all over the National Football League. But that didn't happen. And a big reason why is, I don't know. Because when you look at the numbers in 2023, with the points per game, yards per play, basically everything except red zone percentage, being in the bottom 10 in the NFL, and in some cases, the bottom 5. And then you look at what that improved to in 2024. And of course, it helps a lot when you add a guy like Jayden Daniels, he can't help but be accurate with the football, but you're top 10, top 5, top 6, top 7 in every single one of those statistics. Points per game, yards per game. You improve by about 20 points in every single one of those things except red zone percentage. And so you kind of sit there and you kind of scratch your head and you kind of wonder why this staff isn't getting picked off more. But it's also because Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, the entirety of this Washington Commanders organization is making sure that those guys are staying put, like the David Bloughs. We're getting requested from the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Bears. Coming up, I got a little bit more to talk about on this matter, about what this means for Daniels and his development and his future with this franchise and his future with David Blough. But before I do any of that, I got to give a massive shout out to the awesome sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at GameTime. The big game is coming up this Sunday, and if you want to get some last minute tickets, if you have the coin to do so, you can go ahead and check out our friends over at GameTime. It is the best place to go for the best seats, lowest prices, guaranteed. And there's nothing that could quite compare to the rush and excitement you feel watching that big game. And if you want to have that memory for the rest of your life, that's where GameTime can help out. GameTime has an awesome feature. It's called GameTime Picks, and that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so that way you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals with the highest value seats at the time. For some events, GameTime Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. There's so many things I love about GameTime, but man, that GameTime Picks button is easily the thing I love most. It's easy to use. It's incredibly helpful. I can't tell you how many times and how many hours I've wasted on other ticketing websites trying to find the best value. All you got to do with GameTime, press one button, and you got it for you right there. So download the GameTime app today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime and create an account. Use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Linked to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Download GameTime today. What time is it? It's game time. So let's talk about Jayden Daniels, okay? Because this move not only impacts David Blough and Cliff Kingsbury and the guys on that offensive side of the staff, but it impacts the probable offensive rookie of the year. Because one thing is clear is that JD absolutely loves him, okay? John Duran had this report about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, late in the season, right before the new year, that every Friday, Jayden Daniels and David Blough go head-to-head in a game of quarterback pick. It's some of the best competition we see at practice every single week. And then Jayden Daniels actually went on to say it's super competitive. It's a lot of trash talking. So even if this was a guy that maybe wasn't even, I don't want to say the best at his job, but maybe if this was a guy that wasn't even that coveted, it's big that you're keeping him around because Jayden Daniels loves him. But there's multiple reasons why this is big for JD. And I think number one is consistency. Okay, keeping that consistent figure in your life, keeping that consistent coach in your ear, keeping that consistent guy on your sideline. Because when you look at the numbers that Jayden Daniels put up last year, why would you not want to keep everything the exact same? Just under 70% completion percentage, just over 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and then 891 rush yards to go on top of that. And the worst thing you could do for a young quarterback's development in this league is change his OC or change his quarterback coach. Okay, so both of those staying put going into 2025 is massive. I can't tell you how many guys that after 2-3 years of their career, you look back and you say, man, I wonder if that career would have been different if they didn't have to learn a new offensive scheme or didn't have to have a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterback coach every single year. Having both of those the same for JD in year two is going to be absolutely huge. Speaking of JD, got a question for you. Will he win Offensive Rookie of the Year? Give me a yes, give me no in the comment section down below. I think he will. I'm curious to think what you guys think. If he doesn't, it's an absolute sham. They should burn the whole place down. Let me know in the comment section. Number two, I think why this is great for JD is the age gap between the two of them. Okay, a lot of people see quarterback coach to, player, and they think, okay, they're probably 10, 15 years between them. But I think we also forget that Jayden Daniels played a good bit of college football. And David Blough's 29 years old to Jayden Daniels 24 years old. That's only a 5-year difference. Coop, is there a 5-year difference between the two of us? I believe so. That's how the age gap between me and Coop. Okay, that's like if Coop were my quarterback coach. And I can tell you, if he were, I'd have a Jayden Daniels season. But I think this is awesome because having a guy close to your age, and most importantly, who's recently played in today's version of the National Football League and for your offensive coordinator is key, okay? That's twofold, right? He's played in the NFL in today's version. He knows what it's like to be a quarterback as of recent, but he's also played for that exact same offensive coordinator that you have. He knows what it's like to be a quarterback for Cliff Kingsbury in Cliff Kingsbury's system. And I think that kind of lesson, those kind of teachings are invaluable, okay? So that's number 2. Let's go to number 3, and it's the future, okay? Because Cliff Kingsbury, he had a fantastic year. He got some head coaching buzz. You know, it was here, it was there. And my bet is if he has another really great year in Washington, I think he gets a head coaching job next year, okay? I would not be surprised in the slightest if Cliff Kingsbury was not a Washington Commander come 2026, okay? And good for him. All credit to him. Go try that head coaching job again. But maybe DQ wanted David Blough to stay because he sees him as the future of this offense. He sees him as a guy who can step into that offensive coordinator role, keep things the same, keep systems the same, keep faces the same in that offense for your quarterback if Cliff departs after next season. Okay, this might have been a 4D chess move, and if it is, I absolutely love it. Thanks so much for tuning in, every single one of you guys. Really do appreciate the support all season long, all off season long. We've been here, we'll be here. So if you guys have not already, make sure and hit that sub button.